Yep.
It's not a standard thing that everybody just does because that's how it makes you look like you're working hard in a way.
Yeah.
Because working hard would be getting your work done at the deadline and not doing overtime.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another Overtime Again episode. We're the
Oh.
hosts. My name is MJ.
My name is Adam.
And today, everyone, we have an awesome episode for you. But I just want to say thanks for hanging out with us. It's a beautiful new month. Hopefully, everyone's having a good time. I see a lot of people who are actually still continuing the hashtag Ego every day. Have you seen this, Adam?
Oh yeah,
People are still
still doing it.
motivated
That's right.
and going to do it, which is
Keep
awesome.
going.
So
Yeah, just
keep
keep it up.
going. Keep going.
Keep up.
All right. So everyone, we have a good episode for you. We have one that was suggested from a third step member over on YouTube. Thank you so much, Stanley Wong, always supporting, always giving great feedback. And the topic that he wants us to talk about today is overtime.
Not again.
So Stanley was specifically talking about office culture, but the main point of it was the fact that overtime is a common thing in Japan as well as in Hong Kong, where Stanley lives. So we're just going to be talking about our experience with overtime and, letting everyone know how we feel, because where we grew up in America and in Canada, it didn't seem like overtime was such a big thing, where when we came to Japan, like it's a norm when you're working at an office. Right.
Almost to the point where if you don't do overtime, if you're not doing overtime, it might be seen as a bad thing.
Yes. Okay, so let's just say straight out, at least for me, that I don't have so much office experience in America. So just from what I've heard friends talk about, or even probably seeing like on movies and stuff and TV shows, that I don't know exactly how much the overtime is used or done in America.
I kind of agree with MJ on that part. Like I am about the same. I don't have much office experience in Canada, but from my friends and family members who do or have done overtime in the past, plus TV and movies and things like that, that's where I get my information from as well. So yeah.
Right. As well as like there's not so much of the like the type of work in Japan. There's just like salary man.
That's true.
You're an office worker. So exactly what do you do?
Right.
So in North America, like there isn't that. I feel like I haven't really heard that title only until when I came to Japan. Then I heard about like, salary man. I'm like, what? That might be something that's kind of connected, where it's like, what's just normal office work?
Right.
And then why people are doing overtime, or it's such a necessity, a necessary thing,
norm
for office workers. Because I only think of who's doing overtime in North America. I'm like, I don't know, like doctors.
Executives, I think
maybe like people
always
working
have
at
tight deadlines, maybe.
Okay, yes.
Like designers, for example.
All right. Or I'm thinking also like retail people, maybe sometimes if it's like really busy.
Yeah, the scale is different, I feel, where it's not necessarily a huge problem like it is in Japan. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, doing extra hours in retail is like, okay, make a little extra money.
Right.
But in Japan, it's doing extra hours might not necessarily make you extra money to a certain
Okay. Oh man.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not like an extra on top. It's not like icing on the cake or an advantage for some people. It's like, oh, okay, this is part of my work. So
Right. So that's our kind of history with overtime and what we've seen happen in North America. It's not so much, but we came to Japan and we've learned that it's such a normal thing that everyone pretty much does it.
Right.
Some people do it to an extent where, like, worst case I've heard is like people don't go home.
Yes.
you
Yes.
stay at the office for such a long time, then you're
Right.
like, finally, when it's like 2 a.m., you're like, oh, I'm just gonna go to sleep under my desk and then wake up. Like, wait, there's so many questions.
Right.
Where's your pillow? Or do you have a sleeping bag?
I don't know.
Where are you brushing your teeth? Do you have a toothbrush? But everyone, the focus here is that, yeah, you're doing overtime so long
Yeah.
that you are staying at your office. Now, this is an extreme, the big, the worst extreme I think I've heard of.
Yeah.
But still, another thing that I've heard of is that as an employee, you are not allowed to leave the office, stop work before your senpais in the office, right?
Yeah.
Especially if like Bucho or whatever isn't leaving the office for until like, I don't know, 7 p.m. or 8 p.m.
or later.
Work finishes at 5. So there's this awkward kind of pressure of you just have to stay there. I'm like, what if you don't have any work to do?
I've heard it's in a typical Japanese company. Now, these are all things probably from a typical Japanese company, right? Where
right.
They say like, yeah, if your senpai or your superior doesn't go home right on time, like right after the bell rings and you got to go, then you got to stay. And it's required of you to work overtime. And sometimes it's unpaid, or sometimes, it's really late. Sometimes you always have overtime and you can't get out of overtime. And it's just like a nonstop, endless cycle of you waking up in your bed, going to work early in the morning and coming home at the last train or even the next day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That sounds like a horrible life.
Yeah.
Horrible work life.
It does. I can't
because
imagine
it's like you're just slaving. Now, of course, everyone, this is what we've heard.
Right.
And we say typical Japanese company, and there's a lot of different styles of companies out there, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But possibly like, back in the day, like, I don't know, 60s, 70s, or even earlier, like that's what I could assume, like probably even around the world, overtime was like such a normal thing where it's just like, that's how you got your work done.
True.
But now we see it as like, no, like that's why the title is overtime, because you are going past the time of your work.
Right.
And now you have to do more work. For what reasons? Should be because there is just a deadline that you couldn't make.
Right.
So this project or this thing has to be finished. So, okay, we have to do overtime.
Right. Now that's the idea that we get from North America, because in North America, when you do overtime, it means your work hasn't finished and you have a deadline. And that's usually the only time you do overtime, is when you have a tight schedule to finish this task or this project, and you haven't finished it because whatever, you have a bunch of other work to complete, and then you do overtime to complete this project. It's not a standard thing that everybody just does, because that's how it makes you look like you're working hard in a way. Because working hard would be getting your work done at the deadline and not doing overtime in North American ideals and standards. If you do overtime, it seems like you're not working hard and you're not doing your job and you're not capable of doing your job. So normally, if people do a lot of overtime, they might get evaluated and they might get told by their boss, like, you're costing the company too much money with your overtime. Either you learn how to work faster and harder, or we find somebody else. And that's the difference, the biggest difference that I notice or realize.
Right.
Between North America and Japan.
Now, it also goes to the point of where it's like, that's just what everyone else does.
Right.
And like you're saying, like it's such a normal thing. Like every day people are working overtime. So it's become just normal work.
Right.
Where in the States, we still have, or in North America, we still have the view of, it only happens every once in a while.
Right.
So
only when it's important and necessary.
Right. Yes. Man, but you definitely, that is like probably the biggest argument, and the thing that a lot of Westerners who come to Japan and see this style, this culture in the office of working overtime
Yeah.
pretty much every day.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what are you doing during the day?
Right. Yeah. What do you do with
Like,
your regular hours?
another thing I thought of though was, dude, people just saying yes too much. I think that is a big culprit for people in Japan, where they're just saying yes to everything. They're not telling their managers, "Oh, sorry, I can't do that. Can't do that."
Yeah.
Because think about, like, I remember when I would say like no, like I don't. if I ever said no to something, it kind of didn't. There was gasps, and the Fwinky wasn't that good.
That's what I was gonna go at, and I think it's like it's a little bit deeper than just not being able to say no. I think it's trying to keep that Fwinky good all the time.
Mamoru,
Mamoru, right? Don't want to Ijiru anything, rub anyone the wrong way, or like make it very bad, right?
Yes.
So like going off the not being able to say no, I think it's like not being able to say no because saying no will cause problems, and I don't want to cause problems.
Yeah, man. So now everyone, this is an issue. The Japanese government knows about this issue. Japanese citizens know about this issue. Everyone who is watching, mostly. And the government has actually, when Abe was prime minister, he was trying to push the fact that we shouldn't be working overtime so much. I think also now the new prime minister Suga is also following suit and saying everyone should stop, especially now with Corona, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Where you shouldn't be working overtime because it's bad for your health. People need to get family time more, or relax time, R&R.
Oh yeah,
a lot more, because
work-life balance.
Like it's so important. Did you hear? I've heard recently even that they're thinking of adding an extra day to the weekend in Japan.
What, like 8-day week? Or taking away a day?
So taking away a day.
I'd be down with that.
Right. So then they were on the streets. It's gonna be so slow. It's an idea. It's really a surprising idea. I was so taken back when I heard it on the news. I'm like, Japan saying that? I'm like, word? Like, okay. It's gonna take forever. But like they're seeing that it's such a problem that maybe they need to enforce it to people to be like, you got to stop working. Now, of course, it's still heavily relied on just asking the onegaishimasu, please, telling the companies. And a lot of people who live in Japan know that there's black kigyos, black companies, kaishas, that will have people work a really long time, maybe no pay for that overtime. So it's a difficult thing to really like figure out. But in the end, like, don't we want to be happy, right?
I think everyone wants to be happy. That's like the bottom line for life.
Exactly.
Right?
So it's like, man, it's such a tough thing to deal with, because I think most people kind of feel like you just have to get out of that environment. Because trying to change it might take time, depending on who you are. Maybe you don't even have the power to change it within a company that's like a massive company. It's been going on for like decades and stuff. It's a tough topic, Stanley.
It is. And one that can be solved with a snap of the finger.
Yes.
Especially, I think especially in a place like Japan, or even maybe Hong Kong, where these kinds of things are so embedded in the culture that it's not just about changing rules and like the government saying it's a problem. It's like it has to change from within the hearts and minds of everybody for it to change completely.
Right.
That's going to take time in itself. So
that's it. If you're watching this and you are in a manager position at a company, everyone, then I'd like you to think about this point a little more. Like, of course, getting things done in the company is important, but also the mental health of your employees is also very important. But hey, that's it for this episode. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Stanley Wong, for giving us this idea. He is a Third Step member. He is supporting us on YouTube. You can join the membership right next to that subscribe button and donate to me and Adam every month. And if you're on that top step, then you have the option of requesting a topic for us to talk about, just like today. And then it goes out so all the world can enjoy it. And I think this is a good one that a lot of people will take a lot out of.
And you might have some comments. And where you can post those comments is on our SNS. For example, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Twitter, and on Facebook. That's where we spend most of our time. So if you want to get in touch with us, hit us up on any one of those channels.
Exactly. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as like the video. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about overtime? Do you do it every day? Do you think it should stop? Do you think it is a problem? Let us know. Let us know. Let's hear your voices. But that's it. We'll see you on the next step.